So, tryouts for sports are always extremely nerve-wracking, especially last year. I was trying out for my spot on varsity softball. I had been on JV for 2 years. My first year, during like our little meeting with one-on-one with the coaches, they told me that they really wanted me on varsity, that I had the skills, but I just wasn't going to get the playing time because I was a freshman and I still had some things to develop. And I understood that. It was really respectable. So I was on JV my first year, and then my second year, the coach told me that personally she was expecting more from me and I was disappointing, which honestly crushed me. But I worked through it and I was on JV another year and I was the starting catcher and I worked really hard that season. And I spent the next year, I played travel ball, I played a lot of softball the following year because I wanted so badly to be on varsity. And this tryout was extremely nerve-wracking because there were 4 open spots on varsity and there were 8 sophomores who were moving up to be a junior. And it was just extremely nerve-wracking, and it brought in again that aspect of balancing friendship and competition, because all of these girls who I was competing against for this spot were my friends. I had played with them for 2 years and I had enjoyed being with them, and it was just sort of balancing, like, how do I comfort them, how do I talk to them, but at the same time, how do I keep being competitive, and like, where do I draw that line of I have to do this for myself or I have to do this for my friend. And being in like that very active and very competitive environment where like you're working out, you have to push yourself to prove that you are deserving of that spot. You deserve to be on varsity. It was so nerve-wracking, and like just I felt very increased pressure to be a good friend but also be an amazing softball player. And at the end of the day, I had earned my spot and I did receive the spot on varsity, but I was also the only person who had moved up from JV to varsity in my grade. There was one other girl who took on a spot. She was on JV the previous year, but other than that, it was freshmen and a new girl who had moved up, and it was heartbreaking to watch all of my friends be put on JV and watch them all walk out of that room looking crushed, and knowing that like I had gotten my spot and I had won it, and then hearing the things that these people were saying about me behind my back, them calling me just like petty and mean and just making it seem like I didn't earn my spot. And it brought me down really hard, and it made that like specialness of earning my spot and all of my hard work had paid off. It just made it feel useless, and it really crushed me for a while, knowing that like these people didn't think I had earned my spot, and that earning my spot and putting competition first made me lose all these friendships. But looking back on it and being reflective on that incident, it wasn't about me. Those people were really suffering and they were hurting from it. And if they couldn't also celebrate me and be happy for me in that moment, then they weren't good friends. They weren't there for me. I remember when I walked out of my room after being like given the varsity spot, I was one of the last girls to be told. And like everyone sort of knew that I had gotten the spot. I was walking down, and one of the girls who had just been told she was on JV and she had just quit after 3 years of playing this team, she sprinted up to me and she hugged me and she congratulated me. It was like there were several girls who like they were happy for me, but there were also several girls who just never spoke to me again. And creating again this balance between friendship and competition was even more solidified that day, of looking at who can handle that and who can't, and how I'm going to be able to handle that.